The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And welcome into a Friday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. As always, we are brought to you, presented, proudly sponsored by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. Going to go ahead and put their logo in the top right-hand corner of the screen right there. I'm pointing the wrong way. Right there. So you know where to go if you were in the market for a new or used vehicle. Make sure to check out our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. And one of the ways we do that is our player profiles that we're able to feature on this show, as well as coaches' corners. Today we have a very cool player profile to come at you from a sophomore outside of South Range. It is Gwyn Lowry, their leading scorer, and one of the players that led them to their win over Poland this year, which was one of their most impressive wins of the season. They also have big wins over Springfield as well. So South Range is featured today on the player profile section of the show. Gwyn Lowry is going to be the player profile to be featured. Can't wait for you guys to hear that one. We will also recap the games that we did have last night. It was a light night, admittedly, because girls basketball is wrapping up the regular season. We still had some games that we'll recap, and we'll also preview the night that we will have on the network tonight. So all that coming up. And if we have time, we might sneak in an extra player profile or something from Ty Bartell, because he has a couple of them in the can already as well. So let's see how it goes. Let's just roll with it. It's Friday, TGIF. Am I right? Nothing better than getting ready for the weekend on Running Point. Let's go to the scoreboard on ysnlive.com. Scoreboard is always presented by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs, and it can be found at ysnlive.com/scores. The YSN scoreboard is a great tool for our fans, whether you are at one of the games or maybe watching one of our broadcasts, or hey, why not both? You know, checking out a game while you're sitting at 1-2. The YSN scoreboard is a nice way for you to go and find out what your favorite YSN teams are doing, whether it be your rival or your best friends. The scoreboard is live updated. We have a great team behind the scenes that works very hard to make sure that you don't have to wait until late at night for final scores to come in. This will be live updated. So let's say you wanted the Mooney and Hubbard score and you wanted to see maybe what it looked like at halftime. The halftime score was up there for you, as long as the scores are reported by our announcers, which most of them do get reported by our great announcers out there. And then we have a great team behind the scenes inputting the data and getting it out to all of you. So let's go on to the scoreboard from last night, Thursday, February 15th, 2023. Back to the past a little bit, hopping in the DeLorean. Cardinal Mooney does get the win over Hubbard. Final score 48-28. Cardinals with a big regular season finale win there. Wyndham in a defensive grudge match cannot muster up enough fuel to beat Ashtabula St. Thomas Aquinas, 26-24. St. Aquinas gets the win. Pymatuning Valley all over Lakeside. They had two players in double figures, but they had 5 players score at least 7 points in an offensive show. Pymatuning Valley wins over Lakeside 74-30. They conclude their regular season. They await a pretty dang interesting matchup Saturday the 24th against Poland in the sectional final. That one's already set because that bracket, just the number of teams there, they already have a sectional final where both teams get the bye. So that sectional final already set. Winner goes to districts between Poland and Pie Valley. It's 21 versus 22. And Poland's defense is going to be up for a really big task because the Lakers' offense is balanced. It scores a lot. There's not one player to shut down, although Leah DeMoss is their leading scorer. Last night, though, just to prove my point, it was Zoe Painter that had the big night for the Lakers, 23 points in their win over Lakeside. So you never know who's going to be the one to step up and try to beat you if you're defending this Lakers team out of Pymatuning Valley. The game of the night, though, the one that everyone was looking forward to, the one that actually got moved to here because both teams won, it is a tournament tune-up. LeBray and Badger doing battle, and it is Badger that gets away with Badger that gets away with a narrow victory. I was right the first time. Never doubt yourself. 62-57, the final score. Badger gets to win. Hannah Betts with a big day. 15 points for her. 18 points for her, I should say. You had 3 players in double figures for the Braves. Leading the Vikings was Ella Kuzmal with 15 points. Marissa Levinsky with a good day as well for LeBray. She had 13. And that'll do it for both their regular seasons. They both now await their tournament fate. Badger awaiting the winner of a game. They're already in the sectional finals. They have a bye. LeBray will play home against, I believe, it was Norway. Let me just double check that. Yep, Norway. And they're going to host Norway on Wednesday for their first round tournament game. So LeBray's got a home game to start the sectionals. Badger does too. They're just awaiting a winner. They have a first round bye. Garrettsville Garfield, they get the win over Bristol, 42-32. That's good for the G-men to get some momentum heading into tournament time. McDonald also gets some momentum as they have one of their best offensive performances of the year, winning against Matthews 71-55. Big win for the Blue Devils there. We move on to Heartland Christian. Their girls fell to Maplewood 55-35. And then last but not least in the girls' scoreboard last night, Lisbon falls to East Canton. The Wizards for girls basketball and girls basketball only, 52-34. Remember, that's why they're the Hornets everywhere else, but the girls basketball program nicknamed the Wizards. So don't get confused. Like we did the first time we ever had them on the network. It's a funny story because I'm there as a reporter and a photographer. I'll never forget this. It was at Western Reserve versus East Canton. It was the COVID year, so there were no hosts. There were no like neutral district sites. It was a district championship between the two, but it was in Western Reserve. So if you don't remember that year, they just did away with the host sites and districts. It was basically high seed host all the way through, I believe, regionals, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, we're sitting there at the district championship. I'm there as a photographer and a reporter. Ty Bartell's there as a I'll take the scoreboard off. So while I'm telling the story, you don't need to see the scores anymore. But Ty Bartell's there as the broadcaster of the district championship. And we're trying to get information pregame of East Canton. We're trying to, see who their leading scorers are. That stuff you need as a broadcaster, right? So we're looking at their uniforms. We're like, okay, they're the Wizards. Let's look for East Canton. everything we're seeing from East Canton has the the B on my hat, the Georgia Tech B. They're the Hornets, and we're like, wait a minute, are we playing East? Is this a East Canton team? Is this the right East Canton team? We were so confused. I'll tell you, we were so confused. Come to realize that it's actually a pretty cool story that East Canton has their girls basketball program nicknamed the Wizards, and it was a coaching decision back in the past where they wanted their girls basketball program to stand out and to be respected and to have something that was their own, kind of like back before everyone called every girls basketball program the Lady Blanks, whatever, fill in the nickname, Lady Dragons, Lady Rockets, whatever. It was the Lady Vols. Tennessee really started that. They wanted something to stand out for their basketball program. Um, Kind of like that thing where the coach just wanted something different. So it's stuck, and the girls team is the Wizards. But me and Ty were like running around, not literally running around, obviously the court, but we were going through our mind like, what are we doing wrong? They're the Hornets. They're the uniforms as the Wizards. What team are we looking for? Do we have the right roster? Do we have the right names? We had to get straightened out a little bit in that we asked the scores table. Yes, they told us yes, we're the Wizards, but we're the Hornets. Everything else. Then we actually got messages from Mike Schweinhart, who is the everyone calls me a guru. He is the information guru when it comes to sports for YSN. He's the encyclopedia. He informed us that yes, we are at the right team. East Canton. This calls their team the Hornets. I mean the Wizards for girls basketball. Hornets, everything else. So that's a fun little story there behind the scenes. Back a couple of years ago, me and Ty having a heck of a time at Western Reserve trying to figure out who the heck this East Canton Wizards team was. Oh man, fun times. Fun times. Tournament time coming up very soon. I want to point out that the YSN, our coverage plan for the tournaments is going to look like this. So, for the sectional games for both boys and girls basketball, as far as our broadcasts go, we will be broadcasting games that get sponsored and just the games that get sponsored. So if you are out there as a team or as a community member that wants to see a girls or boys team in their sectional games, that one's going to have someone from the community or a business or whatever it may be come up and sponsor that game. And if you want to do that, we'd love to have that conversation with you. Message us on all of our social media accounts to set up a conversation. We'd love to have it. But then we will also be at every district that we possibly can get someone at. I know this year districts are a little bit further away than normal with the Supreme districts out there. We will have more teams spread out. So can't promise everything, can't promise the world, but we are going to make a conservative effort to get to district semifinals and championships. Those games, unless they're sponsored too, they're able to be sponsored. But sponsored or not, we will be broadcasting them. If they're not sponsored, they will be pay-per-view. So that's kind of what's going to be breaking down for our broadcast coverage of the tournaments. Now, we will still have stories. We will still have post-game interviews. We will still have all that fun stuff on ysnlive.com. But as far as live broadcasts go for the sectionals, the only way we will be there for a sectional game is if it gets sponsored by someone that flips the OHSA bill. And then districts, we will be there. If it's sponsored, great, it'll be free. If it's not sponsored, we will still be there. It'll just be pay-per-view like playoff football. So that's kind of the rundown of what we're going to do for our broadcast coverage of the tournaments. I know people have been asking me every time I go out in the last couple of weeks what our plans were for covering tournament action. And that's what it's going to be. And I think moving forward, that's probably what it's going to be for every sport not named football. We had a lot of success with that with volleyball. We did that last year for baseball and softball as well. So this is not new waters. The reality is everyone's in, and the sectionals, if we flipped all the bills, would get really, really expensive. So that's kind of why we're doing it this way. And once again, we would be happy to come cover a sectional game. It just needs to be sponsored by someone in the community. It can be a band of parents, that gets together and decides they want to chip in money. If that's what you want, that's what we'll do. It can be a company. It can be anything. I mean, We just need it sponsored for sectionals. Districts, though, we're good to go. So that's kind of what that's going to look like going forward. I wanted to answer that before we went on with the rest of the show. Speaking of the rest of the show, though, we are going to dive into our player profile feature of the show, and we have a good one from South Range. Their leading scorer, sophomore Gwyn Lowry. Here's an interesting thing, and one of the interesting stats this year from Gwyn. South Range has had a rivalry with Poland ever since those two became league opponents 6 years ago. For the 6 years, it's come down to Poland South Range 1 and 2. It's come down to those matchups. As you can imagine, with that being said, a lot of great talent on both sides of that rivalry. Gwyn Lowry in the first matchup with Poland this year scored 21 points. That is more points than anyone has scored against Poland in South Range history in league play last 6 years. That's Ysn Party, that's Bree Kohler, that's Lexi Giles, all those stars that were a part of that rivalry. No one scored more than 21 points. And then Gwyn Lowry backed it up in the loss to Poland later on in the season. She scored 15, which means that not only does she scored more in a game than anyone in South Range girls basketball in league play against Poland, but she has scored more in the season than anyone in league play against Poland. Izzy Lamparty had that record, if you want to call it a record. It's a LeBron stat. If you watch New Heights podcast, it's a LeBron stat. But it's still one that I think should make Gwyn feel pretty dang good, because there's a lot of good basketball players that have come through that rivalry on South Range's side. And Poland's defense is really, 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 really good at stopping your best player and making sure they don't go off for 20 plus points. They make you have a balanced offense to beat them. But Gwyn Lowry defied that, scored 21 in the win, scored 15 in the loss. She has a combined 36 points against Poland this year. Izzy Lamparty had 25 combined points in her best year, by the way, against Poland. That was the year where they split and split the conference. Izzy scored 20 in their loss, believe it or not, and then scored 5 in South Range's win. So make that make sense. I don't know. You would think it would be the other way around. Not so much. But Gwyn Lowry has really impressed a lot of people this year, stepping up for the Raiders when they need some offense, and big in all their wins. She stepped up big. So here's sophomore Gwyn Lowry coming at you from South Range. Hope you enjoyed. It's a great interview and a great time. Anthony Hartley here with a South Range girls basketball player profile. I am joined by sophomore Gwyn Lowry. Gwyn, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today.
Of course.
So, we got you on. You're the leading scorer right now of this South Range girls basketball team. My first question for you, and I think it's for everybody out there that's watching South Range, what clicked this year? What were some things that really started to work for you this year that have made you have so much success on the floor?
I think over the summer, I just worked really hard on getting my shooting good. And then over the summer, we spent a lot of time in the gym with my teammates. So I think it just clicked.
Thinking about clicking in this South Range season, you're 9-11 right now, but you started 2-7. Something clicked in the middle of the season. You're 7-4 in your last 11 games. What was the big turnaround? What were some things that the South Range team did to really come back from that tough start?
I think we just knew that we had to lock in and we need to get it together. So moving on, that we could get some more wins and have a better season.
I know you're one of the younger players on the team, being a sophomore, but it seemed like as a starter and as a player that stepped up into a scoring role, you were one of the players that just said, "Hey," you had that conversation. Did that happen? Were you like one of the leaders of this team that said, like, this it's here and now, we have to lock in?
Yeah, I tried to. We had multiple conversations with our teammates and the coach, and we just talked about how we knew we need to get things together and we need to work harder at practice so we could have a better season.
Now, as we go through the development of the season, it seemed like there was also a point when you started to really lock in. That Springfield game especially sticks into my mind. You scored 19 in that game. You come back the next night against Poland. You dropped 21 against Poland. You really started to click. What happened in that point for you? Did you kind of get confident at that point? Was there just a time when you started to see shots go in that then you started to really be confident the rest of the year, or was there something else that really clicked for you?
I think confidence, I would say after practice later and come in early, and I just kept shooting and shooting, and then it showed on the court. So then I just kept going and shooting as the more games came.
Your teammates seem very close knit, very chemistry. Obviously, your coach fires you guys up as well. How much did your coaching staff and your teammates really contribute to your confidence?
Well, I couldn't do it without them. So without them, it wouldn't be possible. So having them have confidence in me and pass me the ball, it really helped me.
I told Coach Fish this early in the season. I don't know if he shared this information with you, but you, out of every South Range girls basketball player that has come through in the last 6 years since the NE8 started, no one has scored more against Poland than you have. What is that when you hear that, when you know that, that team obviously has won the NE8 6 years in a row, they're tough. What does it mean to you that you're one of the Raiders that can put their name on having success against that team?
It makes me feel really good because I've known like the past years we've had a lot of very good players. And so having that confidence going forward, I think it helped me with the games coming forward. And I know that I can score that many points against a very good team. So it just overall helped my confidence.
When we talk about Coach Fischel and Coach Pavlansky and what they've done for you in just 2 years under them, what kind of things have they done for your basketball career and taught you about yourself as a person as well?
They really helped build my confidence, and they let us know that we can do it. And even though these teams have like beaten other teams, that no team is unbeatable. So they help us build our confidence and let us know that we can beat them.
These last couple of weeks of the season is all about getting ready for tournament time. You're locked in now. The brackets come out a little bit later on today. What kind of mindset are you guys, especially you personally, having the rest of the season now that you have a couple of tough opponents left? You have to finish league play up. What kind of mindset are you trying to take into these last few weeks?
Well, we just know that we can't let their records help with the way we're looking for the new games. So we just know we have to take one game at a time and get a win and then go to the next game.
These seniors that you have on the team, they are not just leaders for basketball, but we see them lead in other sports as well. They mean a lot to this South Range community. How much have they meant to you being a part of this team as a sophomore and having seniors like that to look up to?
It's really great. Well, at the beginning, we weren't very close, but then as the season went on, we got closer and closer, and I think that's when we started to click, and it helped, like, in the game it showed, so I think that was very good.
What were some reasons or some contributions that drew you guys so close this year? What were some things that happened or some bonding activities that you had that really let you get close with those seniors?
Well, every week we have a team feed, so we always have to talk to each other. And at practice, we're like split half and half. So I think that really helped us because we were always with the same girls over and over again. And we go and do some, I don't really know what it's called, but we like go and feed people. And so I think it really helped us bond.
Yeah, this team does a lot of community outreach. They do it around the Christmas season. They do it throughout the year. When you guys do that kind of stuff, it's a perfect segue into the next question because I wanted to ask you about when you reach out to the community, how much that helps you guys bond together as a team.
Yeah, it really helps us because we know that we are very fortunate. And so we go and help these people. And I think it's very fun. And I think we all enjoy it. And whenever we get to do it, it's a good treat for us because we get to go help others, but we're also bonding as a team.
All right, you're a student athlete at South Range. Student comes first in that sentence for a reason. Let's talk about your schoolwork and some of the things that you like studying and some of your favorite subjects at South Range.
I would say my favorite subject is math. I think it just comes easy to me, and the teachers really help with that. And I also like history, and I have Mr. Lindstrom, which is one of my favorite teachers.
When you think about other teachers, obviously Lindstrom, you just mentioned him, other teachers that have impacted your journey along the way, what other teachers come to mind in that South Range school system?
Well, obviously my math teacher, Miss Pav, and Mrs. Scott. I love going to them and talking to them because they feel I'm really close with them. So it really helps me whenever I need to go and ask them a question about something or anything.
We've asked basketball players this all year. When it's game day on Monday or Thursday, is it easier for you or harder for you to get through the school day?
I would say easier because I feel like it goes faster and I'm always excited for the game. So like I'm not thinking about school. So I like it better during the week.
what is your game day routine? Like, what kind of things do you do to try to keep yourself in routine on a game day?
Well, after school, I usually get Starbucks and then with my friends, and then I just go home, and then on the way to school, I listen to music and I just get ready for the game.
Now, this has been a very contested, I guess, point for a lot of players that we've interviewed. Are we taking a power nap before the game? Do you go home and take a little bit of power nap before you head off to the school, or do you not do that?
I do not take a nap. I feel like it drains my energy, and
Right.
I usually go home and just listen to music and just get ready and lock in.
So we'll write Gwen Lowry down in the not napping section of the players. So we'll put you down on that list. When you're listening to music, what kind of music pumps you up? What's on your playlist?
I usually listen to country music, which is very controversial, but I love country music. So
Let's talk about that controversial music taste. What's your favorite country singer? Who's the go-to artist?
I like Morgan Wallen and like Blake Shelton.
Is there one country song that no matter like what your mood is or no matter what kind of day you're having can always kind of lift you up and get you ready to go?
I'm not very good with song titles, but I don't really know the names of them. I just play them on shuffle.
It's good. What about like how does your teammates, how do they accept your music taste? Are they accepting of the country music or do they not vibe with that?
Well, before our game, we always have our speaker playing, and it's the senior's choice, so we usually don't listen to country music. But that's
Just wait,
alright.
when you're a senior, you'll be able to change
Oh
all
yeah,
that.
we
Don't
already have
worry.
our playlist ready.
Already ready.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
talk about that group of sophomores. I know you're close with your class and the players that are in your class, and I know you've played with them for a while. Talk about the bond there and how much you're going to relish the next 2 years with them as well.
I think it's going to be very fun since we've been playing with each other for so long, and hopefully we can get Anna A back, who sadly quit this year, but I think we can get her back, and then we'll have our 5 back that we've had since long as I can remember, 4th grade, playing with each other. And we have a very good bond, and we all enjoy each other's company, so I think it will be very fun.
You got to get into Anna A's ear. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Back to basketball. It's fun over here. When you talk about what things you want to do, things you want to accomplish before you graduate from South Range, what are some goals that you have? What are some things that are on your list of things you want to do?
I think my grades, I need to keep them in the A's and B's, and then I hope I get closer with the younger people coming up and then the older people, and then I think I'll have a good rest of my high school career.
When we're talking about these seniors and we're talking about the legacy they're leaving on South Range and the athletics programs that they're in, what kind of legacy do you think you want to leave? If we ask a younger player about being your teammate when you're a senior, what kind of things do you hope they say about you?
I hope they say that I'm always encouraging and that they always look up to me and see that it's okay to make mistakes. And if you do make mistakes, you can just pick them up and do better the next time. And yeah.
What is one thing these seniors have taught you about leadership that you're going to carry into when you're a senior and you become a leader?
They tell me that the little things matter, that we need to play a team and not just as one, because you can't play just with one person on the court. So I think like being close with and I need to be close with the younger people and let them know that it's okay to make mistakes and stuff like that.
All right, Gwen, we can't interview and not ask you about your family. It's a South Range family through and through. We've seen that Lowry name for a while. Talk about your family and what makes it unique to you and what makes it so special to you.
Well, my dad is very encouraging and I can always hear him from the stands. So he is probably one of my biggest inspirations, and he makes me work hard. And then my sister, obviously, we go shooting a lot. And then my mom, they're all very big supporters, and I really appreciate them.
I want to know how you keep your dad's blood pressure okay during a game, because sometimes it seems like he can like get really into it. What are some things that you tell him before and after a game to try to keep him calm if you can?
Oh, I just tell him that I'm always going to have bad games and there's always going to be calls that don't go my way, but he just have to stay calm so he can actually stay in the game and not get kicked out.
That's always the goal, right? It's always the goal. Um,
Yeah.
what take us through some of the conversations after games. I mean, calming them down, like you said. What are some things that happen after you leave the gym?
Well, now that I can drive, it's much better, so I don't have to listen to the car ride home with him. But when I do get home, there's always a lot of yelling, and I just tell him that like it's okay, like everyone can't have a good game, and then I'll practice harder and I'll do better the next game.
Do those kind of conversations though? Do they fire you up? Do they get you locked in when you're able to have your dad that obviously is coming from a source of caring about you and wanting you to do your best? Does that get you kind of fired up? Do you kind of go into the next practice or the next game like, okay, like dad's right. Maybe I didn't play well. Maybe we didn't get the calls we wanted to go, but we're gonna get them tonight.
Yes, I do think it really helps because most of the time I can't really see what I'm doing wrong. And so when he points it out and we rewatch the game on Ysn, he shows me what I'm doing wrong and what I should be doing. And so at practice, I know what I need to work on. So I really think it's beneficial in the long
Yes,
run.
the only place to rewatch the games. That's great. I appreciate the plug. Let's before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to take the spotlight off yourself for a minute as we do these player profiles. Shine them on your support system, the people that are always there for you, the people that you wouldn't be where you are without. I want to give you the time to give your thanks out and give your shout outs that you want to give.
Well, I appreciate my family and all that they do for me, and then my teammates because I wouldn't be here where I wouldn't be here without them, and I'm really close with them, so I like that. And then my teachers and my coach, I appreciate them.
All right, Gwen, we appreciate you and all the time that you've been giving us. We thank you for your time today. We look forward to the rest of this season and the rest of your career. We hope it goes as well as it possibly can, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
That was Gwen Lowry from South Range, sophomore standout, and man, what a bright future she has. One of the greats for South Range, and they've had a lot of good basketball players come through that girls basketball program. And I know their record is not their standard. It's I think a lot of programs would love to have their record in a quote unquote down year, but Gwen Lowry leading the charge, especially on the offensive end, leading scorer, and was really big in some of their huge wins this season, especially in that middle stretch when they were counting out. Right, they were 2-7, and everyone said, you know what, they're out. We don't have to look at South Range anymore. Put some dirt on them, shovel them in the ground. They're buried. From that moment, South Range just kind of got right back up off the mat. Were they perfect from that start? No. Were they really, really good from that start? Yeah. Did they get some big wins after that start? Yeah. And they proved that because of the schedule they play, are they dangerous in the tournament? I think they are because they have a really good high-intensity schedule. They got them prepared. They won in the regular season, so they're feeling pretty good. A buzzer beater to beat Western Reserve. They play really good, consistent defense, so they're going to be tough to score on. And they have seniors that are going to be motivated to not let their senior season end. In Maddie Dato, Devin Sauerwein, Cindy Pennick, and Olivia Yeagley, who's doing a lot on the sidelines during her injury. So, incredible. South Range, Gwen Lowry, thank you for their time. Thank you for your time. And we will continue to cover your tournament run. Hopefully it goes as long as it can. South Range opens their tournament on Saturday, February 24th at home if United loses, and they will go to United if United wins. So United versus Villa Anna St. Joe's is the game they're waiting for. If VASJ wins, that'll be at the Thriller Dome on Saturday, the 24th. And if United wins that game, then the 24th, the Raiders will have a road trip down to Hanoverton, where they started this season. Well, they started the season at home against United, but started the season at home against United, lost by 2. So they would love, I think, a little bit of a revenge game. They feel like they're a much different team than the team that's lost 29-27 to United back in November. So if that happens, the Raiders will be happy. If the Raiders get another home game, I'm sure they'll be happy about that too. So we'll see. Tournament starts on Wednesday. We'll have more coverage of that tournament next week when we gear up for tournament time on Running Point. We're going to take a break right now, though. Head over to our commercials, pay some bills, hear from our sponsors. When we get back, we'll have more on Running Point brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What can you do on over 5,000 acres? At Mill Creek Metro Parks, you can discover unique habitats and wildlife, create memorable family moments, experience history, heritage, and park programs, explore scenic landscapes, take time to relax and be well, connect with nature and each other. Come see what's new at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Plan your trip now at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means taking care of our local customers.
And it's just a great feeling to put them in a vehicle and get them all excited about a new vehicle.
At the end of the day, our goal is to be someone our customers can count on.
And every day I'll go the extra mile for the community so they can trust us.
To do anything that would convenience the customer or make them feel more at home.
Realizing, number one, that we're here for them and that we're not going to go away.
That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
And welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends that you just heard from in that commercial break to end it, actually. Perfect timing, keeping that Greenwood Chevrolet logo at the top of the mind on the end of the commercial break. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown, proud sponsor of YSN. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. Their logo can be found in that top right-hand corner right there, wanting to put them up. Let's see. We have some time. I want to hear from Ty Bartell again. He's been doing a lot of work. As soon as Louisville got put back on the network, signed back with YSN, he immediately jumped on the horse, got us a bunch of player profiles from their boys team that is gearing up for a big tournament run. A lot of people think there could be a chance at state this year. We're knocking on wood. We're not going to jinx them. That Division I is very tough. Division II, I should say, for Louisville. So we will watch. We will try our best to bring some mojo to the Leopards, as they have a very good basketball team, especially on the boys' side. Bo Siegfried is their point guard, and man, is he a good one. Ty Bartell had a chance to catch up with him this weekend. Let's hear from Bo Siegfried, point guard from Louisville, with Ty Bartell on the interview.
Ty Bartell in with another edition of Player Profile. We're having a fun time in the Louisville community. This time we go to one of their top passers, the top ball handlers for the Leopards basketball team, Bo Siegfried. Bo, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm not doing too bad, and you're not having a bad season yourself, young man. You're averaging double-digit points, too, while dishing the ball pretty well this season. And you talk about the way you've been able to distribute the ball, over 6 assists while also averaging double-digit scores. Where do you manage that kind of fine line of when to dish it, when to score it yourself, get yours while also giving it to the team?
I think, having the dogs that we have on our team, Hayden and BG, it's really easy to dish the ball off to them. And even Tato Jancic, great shooter. And then, I know when to get mine. If they leave me a little bit of room on a 3-point line, I'm going to shoot it. And a lot of times I'm going to make it. So, yeah.
Well, I talk about the alley-oops that I've been able to see highlight-wise, too. And it takes some chemistry to be able to do it and be able to toss it to your teammates that could throw it down like BG. Talk about the chemistry that's going on with this team, and the chemistry you have to be able to have that trust in your teammates to be able to distribute it to a tune of over 6 assists.
Yeah, no, I think we both, BG and I, are always on the same page. Like when he wants oops, or when he's gonna kick it out to me, or when I should look into him. And we both know, like, neither of us are scared to say, "Hey, pass the ball to one of each of us." And we have a great chemistry, great bond, and great chemistry as a team. And then I think that's the reason why we win a lot of our games.
And talking with your dad too, he's talked about your growth as a player before, where you were the kind of the one listening in the car rides, and he was the one giving the information to where you're the one pretty much now dishing out what needs to kind of happen to and what you're noticing too. Talk about your growth as the IQ basketball player too, where your basketball IQ has grown from freshman year until now too, and where you have been able to pick up this kind of knowledge too.
I think just, practicing my game off season and on season or whatever, but like watching a lot of college basketball games, working out with college athletes. And I mean, they teach me a lot. My dad teaches me a lot. And then I work out with a D3 point guard from Westminster, and he's really taught me a lot. And I think just playing every day and working on my skill every day has really helped me with my basketball IQ.
You have a lot of great minds around you too, and you have all those additional coaches helping you out too. But what's it like having Coach Siegfried, your dad too, having him on those car rides too, and being able to kind of pick Coach's brain whenever you want to about the team?
It's nice, and then it's not nice at sometimes. If I don't have the best game, I don't like to hear it, but I know he's gonna say it. But it's always nice having my dad on the sideline with me, and always can talk to him about plays or what plays to run or what they're doing defensively. But yeah, I like him having on the sideline.
What have you learned most in your basketball journey thus far too, as far as the way you've been able to improve your game consistently year in and year out?
I think the most thing is just my dad tells me all the time, just going out there and having fun. I mean, when you're having fun, I mean, you're like last game against Massa, and we started up like 25-6 at the end of the first quarter, and we were all having fun. I mean, Hayden threw a lob to BG, and then it's just a lot of fun out there playing with my all my friends and just beating teams, and that's what it's about.
You talk about these chapters of basketball in the high school level. These ones are always fun to write too. But I've been asking a lot of the players, and I want to ask you too, some of the earliest chapters in your basketball life. What's some of the earliest memories you have in basketball? When's the first time you remember picking up a ball, shooting it towards the hoop?
I think I was always a ball boy for my dad growing up. So, I mean, I was always in the gym coming in on Saturday morning practices, or, coming after school to the high school and practicing with them. Sometimes my 8th grade year, I actually helped them scout. So that was fun. And then I remember always playing or being around the guys and just them always treat me like so good. And I just fell in love with the game at such an early age.
And for you to be involved at such a young age, I mean, your dad's been involved in this program for 15 years, if I'm not mistaken, and he always talks about the program. You were quite literally a product of the program, and you've come through Louisville too. Talking about going through the ranks of Louisville too, what have you learned about this community too, and what it means to be a Leopard?
I think it means a lot to be a Leopard because, a lot of people always talk to me, especially about, wanting to come over to Louisville and wanting to play over here because we have such a good program over here. And I think it means a lot to a lot of the fans here that we've had a great program history and with basketball in their last 4 years have just been amazing. I mean, going to the regional finals, winning the district championship. And then I think it means a lot to Louisville, and then it's just a good environment all the time.
You guys have been in some of those big time games, and you guys have been able to come out on top. You talked about dealing with that pressure. Some different kind of pressure, though, this season, because, I mean, you guys are always consistently ranked in the top 10 in the state. You guys are nationally ranked in certain polls, too. You talk about having that kind of pressure. Does it add added pressure to you guys? How do you guys deal with kind of all that kind of extra attention, too, and still be able to play your game in and game out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know it's a lot of pressure on us, but I don't think we think about it too much. I know if we just go out there, and Hayden and BG can agree with this, if we just go out there and play our own game, then I think we're going to be fine at the end of the night.
I know not technically your senior year, but you're still a leader on this team for your position too. And I mean, you're counted on you're the motor that makes the machine go, right? Like the ball goes through you. You're the one that dishes it primarily to a lot of the guys on the team too. Talk about your progression, learning to be a leader for this team, and what have you learned about your leadership style, what you have learned being a leader as well?
I think my dad taught me a lot about being a leader at such a young age, doing what's right all the time, when people aren't looking. And I think being a leader like I am, especially for our team, I know when do certain things, rip certain guys, or congratulate certain guys on certain things. But I think me always being positive, point guard to especially BG and Hayden and our other players, it means a lot to them coming from me.
Throughout your basketball career, what's some of your favorite memories that you've had throughout the sport?
Definitely my freshman year going to the regional finals with like Tyler Bolden, he was a senior, Will Jancic was a junior, BG was a freshman, Hayden was a sophomore, and that was a great experience for me, winning a district championship up in Lakeside Ashtabula. But that was probably my favorite experience.
You guys had those experiences at a young age, and I know that's kind of fueled the fire going into these seasons now in your upperclassmen years. Talking about that and just talking about where you guys have seen yourself from 2 years to now too, what have you guys tried to improve on as a team, and what's kept that hunger growing for you guys to always want more, take it the next step further with the program?
I think, just going either way, if we play St. Ignatius or we play Marlington or anybody, whoever we play, South Range, I think going into every night, we just need to play the same exact way, play as hard as we possibly can on defense and offense, and then just pass the ball, move the ball, and just play team basketball.
I love the fearless nature of this team to schedule anybody, play anybody. I mean, you guys don't back down from any challenge, and I think that's the way you need to be, being one of the smallest D1 schools too. Talk to me about being that from the player's perspective, because, I mean, you could say you're fearless, you could put them on the schedule, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the case when you step to the court, but it genuinely seems that way with you guys too. What gives you guys the confidence game in, game out, no matter who's on the other side, no matter the prestige of the program, the other side of you, that you guys have the confidence that you're going to walk into that gym and beat them?
I think all of us really thought about wanting to play the biggest and best teams in Ohio, and then I think when it actually comes game time, I think we're all ready. I mean, nobody ever says like, oh, like we're going to lose to this team or whatever. Like we all know that we're going into that game to win. Like we don't schedule games to lose. We schedule them to win games. So
does it feel cool that now people all around the state talk about Louisville with kind of such high regard in that boys basketball program too, and to know that you yourself have kind of helped build and maintain that kind of level of that program and the prestige of the culture?
Yeah, no, it's been awesome, being able to be in one of the greatest teams to ever come through Louisville all the time, and it's been a blast though, playing with all my friends and just having a good time and having fun out there.
You talk about having fun. I know it has to be fun when you have a packed gym that's cheering you on every home game. I mean, you guys are undefeated for a reason. Your perspective, what's it like playing in front of that home crowd and having Leopard Nation behind you?
Oh, it's a great experience, when our student section is overfilling and there's no way where anybody else can sit except in the aisleway. It's a lot of fun, when we get a huge dunk like BG always has, like, and the crowd erupts and then the other team calls a timeout. That's what it's all about right there.
When Bo was a ball boy, did he look at the high school game and have those dreams of being on that floor while having those big crowds cheering him on?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I always wish that there would be a huge crowd behind us and supporting our team.
When you talk about kind of reminiscing too and seeing where you were at the start of like this journey, being the ball boy to now too, how cool has the experience been for you? Do you kind of give it thought from time to time?
Yeah, no, I've always thought about, at such a young age being around like, if you remember, Drew Noble graduated 2016. I've always been around him and he's just been a great mentor towards me. And then just them always saying like, always want to fall in love with the game. And I have, and I think that's where my love has started from.
Talking about the love of the game as well, I know you got to have some good role models along the way. Who have been some of your biggest role models in the sport?
I think my dad has been my biggest one, always pushing me either whether I want to hear it or not. He's always going to push me and tell me the right thing to do. And then my sister was a big one. She plays college volleyball at West Liberty, so she's pretty athletic. And then she's always pushed me. We've always played one-on-one. And during COVID, she would rebound for me for about 2 to 3 hours every day outside when it was cold. So I appreciate that. So
you're kind of hinting it. I at least think you're hinting it too, that's kind of a goal for you in the future to kind of follow in sister's footsteps and be able to be a college athlete yourself. Talk about that being is that got to be one of your goals? First off, let's start there. Yeah. Is that one of the goals? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, talk to me about having that goal too, and being able to, I mean, you got the numbers, you got a team too to kind of back it up too. Talk about that goal of wanting to be a college athlete and what it takes from your perspective.
Yeah, no, I've always wanted to play, D2 or D3 college basketball. It's always been a dream of mine. And then my dad's always pushed me to, be the best I can, especially point guard, give others the ball. And hopefully I could play D2 basketball somewhere for a good coach that is somewhat like my dad, hopefully. And then I think that's the goal, though.
I definitely would vouch your numbers, your play style is more than good enough to be on plenty of D2 teams collegiately throughout the nation. Bo, before I let you go, I wanna give you a chance first to shout out your other support system, other people that have been there helping you along the way, cheering you on.
I just shout out to Lauren Siegfried, my sister, my mom, Reese Leone plays at Westminster point guard there, and that's about it.
Final thing for you too, and for anyone that may not know, since Louisville back on YSN, back a part of the YSN Live family, give a shout out to all the people that don't know what Louisville basketball is all about and what they can expect in this upcoming tournament run.
Shout out to Mike Wilcox. He doesn't know what's about to happen. He lives in Florida right now, so he needs to get back home to watch a couple of our games. So yeah.
We're excited to have Louisville as part of the YSN family. We're wishing you guys the best of luck on this tournament run, and hopefully it's going to be a long one, and you guys are able to accomplish some goals that Leopard program has had for quite some time. It's been an edition of Player Profile with the point guard of Louisville, Mr. Bo Siegfried.
Ooh, that fires me up, man. Bo Siegfried, point guard, and I love seeing high school teams with a good old-fashioned point guard that is just good at that position. So many teams have hybrids. They have 3 or 4 different people bring the ball down. They don't have a true point guard because no one wants to be that anymore because it's sacrificing numbers, right? But Bo Siegfried leans into it. He's one of the best point guards that you'll see in Northeast Ohio. Man, fires me up. Let's go. I'm happy to have Louisville back on the family and can't wait to see what they do in the tournament. Ty Bartell said it best. They have goals, and now they get to accomplish them live on YSN. Let's go. Let's go back into the scoreboard real quick before we get out of here today and show you what's going to be happening tonight. It is actually a pretty full slate of games. The last full Friday of boys basketball. There will be boys basketball next week, but it's just like girls this week where it's a lot of teams just finishing up their season here and there, and it's a little bit spotty. But tonight, full slate. You can see it there. 12, 16, 20, 22 games happening involving YSN teams tonight. And let's go over it. Badger travels to Jefferson for the first matchup on our scoreboard. Champion goes to Pymatuning Valley. Remember, these two teams met last year in Champion Senior Night, so now they have the flip it, and Champion goes to Pie Valley. Howland going to Niles. That's a backyard rivalry there. Those two teams might not be in the same conference, but I promise you they don't have much love for each other between Howland and Niles. Hubbard goes to Mooney. Poland travels to Boardman as they try to test themselves more and test that defense more after giving up a ton of points to Badger on Tuesday. Springfield travels to LeBray. United goes to Salem. Wellsville goes to Valley Christian. West Branch going to Girard. We have West Geauga going to Edgewood. Excuse me there. Columbiana will host Western Reserve. We have Newton Falls hosting Wyndham. Bristol travels to Ursuline. That is Bristol testing themselves because Bristol is one of the better teams in Division 4 in the district. They're trying to get themselves as prepared as possible for the basketball they're going to see. So they're coming to Youngstown. They want to expose themselves to high-level basketball. That's mad respect to Bristol and the Panthers down there. Lowville going to Youngstown East, trying to find a way to slow down Isaiah McCray. Good luck there because a lot of teams have tried, not a lot of teams have done. Jackson Milton going to Crestview tonight at inner MVAC matchup. Dang, come on, get through then. Let's go, boys. Ashtabula St. John traveling to Grand Valley tonight. We have Fitch hosting Moore and Harding. Louisville going to be hosting Northwest. That's out of Canal Fulton. Hoban goes to Gilmore Academy. We have Conneaut traveling to Wycliffe. Waterloo goes to Crestwood tonight, and then JFK travels to Southeast, a Portage County conference game for JFK. Here are the games that will be on the network tonight, and you can find them, as always, at ysnlive.com/live. Announcers are out and about. We have almost every game covered. There are only 3 games, I believe, that will not be on YSN tonight. We will start with Badger at Jefferson. That's going to be Sam Torres on the call there. Sax Vincent's going to have you covered, traveling with Hubbard to get them against Cardinal Mooney. Donnie Riccatelli will be on the call with Poland and Boardman. Springfield at LeBray going to be covered by Noah Ricks. Derek Rhodes has you covered in Salem for United coming to town. Noah Doty will have coverage of Wellsville Valley Christian. Matt Marr going to be there for Girard against West Branch. Larry Jennings is going to have the call in Edgewood as they welcome in West Geauga. Joe Cebio has you covered in Columbiana. We have Chris Sigler going to Ursuline for their matchup with Bristol. Eric Hughes going to be at Youngstown East as they take on Lowville. Tony Perazio going to be taking care of Crestview. We have Grand Valley taken care of by Tyler Hartz. Ty Bartell going to be in the nest at Austintown Fitch as they welcome in Warren Harding. And then Dom O'Brien traveling to Southeast with Warren JFK to cover the Eagles. We'll have Louisville hosting Northwest as well. Bob Burke going to be on the call there. And a lot of fun. One note on the schedule, McDonald at Struthers has been canceled. So if you were looking for that game or trying to go to that game, note that game is not happening. We will quickly go over the games that are happening on the network tomorrow. 3 of them. 2 boys games, 1 girls game on the network. I will be in Canfield for the Canfield girls against Streetsboro tomorrow. I will also then be in South Range in the Thriller Dome for senior night against Struthers later on that day. Sam Torres will have you covered for boys basketball, Lakeside at Jefferson. Both those boys games are at 7. Canfield and Streetsboro tip off at 12:30. So that's what tomorrow looks like for you. After the weekend, we'll be back with you on Monday to continue Running Point, go over all of tonight's games and Saturday's games as well, and have some more fun on Running Point. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Running Point always brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We'll see you after the weekend, Monday.